The announcement spread across the galaxy like a wave of light. Every planet, every colony, every human settlement heard the message. The Galactic Royal Contest was about to begin. Once every 10 years, the Empire held this contest to select a queen who would represent humanity in the Interstellar Council, guide planetary decisions, and lead in times of crisis. The contest was not about wealth, beauty, or popularity. It was about wisdom, courage, and leadership. Commander Rylan, a human known for his unmatched strategic mind and fairness, arrived at the contest with a calm determination. Tall, strong, and respected across multiple planets, he had seen many such contests. Every time before, champions chose the most beautiful queens, those whose appearance dazzled and won admiration at first sight. But Rylan believed in something different. He knew that true strength came from what was unseen, from courage, intelligence, and heart. The contest hall was enormous, stretching hundreds of meters in height, with glass walls that overlooked floating cities and glowing star fields. Contestants from dozens of planets stood in rows, each wearing their ceremonial armor and robes. Some sparkled like living gems, their hair and skin shining with exotic colors. Others wore more practical attire, emphasizing skill rather than beauty. And then Rylan saw her. Queen Alara. She did not shine like the others. Her skin had uneven patterns, her eyes were slightly different shapes, and her hair seemed to defy gravity in strange directions. Many nearby contestants whispered and pointed, some smirking. By ordinary standards, she was considered ugly. But there was something in her posture, something in her calm gaze that drew Rylan's attention. It was not beauty. It was confidence, intelligence, and a quiet power that could not be ignored. The first challenge was the arena of strategy. Contestants were placed in simulated battles against alien opponents. They had to command squads, protect civilians, and outsmart traps. Many queens relied on flashy attacks, stunning moves, or brute force. They impressed the spectators, but Rylan noticed the mistakes, small errors in judgment that could cost lives in a real battle. Alara moved differently. She watched her enemies carefully, predicted their moves, and used her squad efficiently. She avoided unnecessary risks and protected civilians with precision. At one point, a trap threatened to destroy part of the arena. While others panicked, Alara calmly rerouted her forces, saving everyone. Rylan's respect grew with every moment. Next was the Council Challenge, a test of diplomacy and ethics. Contestants had to resolve disputes between planets. Some queens tried to win favor with loud speeches or emotional appeals. They wanted attention, applause, or admiration. Alara sat quietly at first, listening to each side. She asked thoughtful questions, considered long-term consequences, and suggested solutions that seemed simple yet brilliant. In the end, both planets agreed to her plan, amazed by her clarity and fairness. Throughout these challenges, Rylan watched every contestant carefully. He saw the brilliance hidden behind Alara's unusual appearance. He saw honesty, courage, and intelligence where others only saw flaws. Outside the arena, rumors began to spread. Who is that queen? She is unusual. Do you think Commander Rylan will choose her? Most expected him to pick someone stunning, someone who would make headlines across the galaxy. But Rylan did not think in headlines. He thought in potential, strategy, and character. The final test was the trial of courage. Contestants were sent to a dangerous asteroid field to retrieve a relic while avoiding traps, collapsing structures, and hostile forces. Many queens hesitated, frightened by the dangers. Some relied too heavily on guards or technology, failing to act when quick decisions were needed. Alara moved steadily, trusting her instincts, helping others along the way, and completing the trial with careful planning. By the time the trials ended, a hush fell over the spectators. Rylan's decision would break expectations. Many contestants waited nervously. The public murmured, wondering who he would choose. Then he stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "I choose Queen Alara." The hall froze. Gasps filled the room. Some people laughed. Others whispered in shock. Alara herself looked stunned for a moment, then bowed respectfully. She had expected many outcomes, but this was different. Rylan ignored the murmurs. Not for pity, not for appearances. I choose her because of her strength, her intelligence, and her courage. She sees what others miss, acts when others hesitate, and leads when others falter. That is the quality a queen must have. Alara felt a warmth in her chest. For the first time in her life, Someone recognized her true worth. Not her appearance, not her title, not her charm, but her real self. The audience was divided. Some criticized Ryland's choice, some admired his insight, and others simply could not understand it. News agencies across the galaxy prepared to report the story with sensational headlines, most focusing on Ilara's appearance rather than her merit. But Ryland did not care. He knew the truth, and that was enough. As the ceremony ended, Ryland walked beside Ilara. He whispered, "The real challenge begins now. The world will not accept what they cannot see. Are you ready?" Ilara nodded. "I have never been more ready. Let them doubt me. I will show them the truth." And with that, the new queen stepped forward, not for beauty, not for fame, but for what she truly was. Little did anyone know, a storm was already brewing in the outer colonies. Some leaders were angry at her selection. Others doubted her abilities. And hidden in the shadows, rival forces began to plot, thinking they could exploit what they perceived as weakness. Ryland and Ilara stood side by side, knowing the coming days would test them both. But in that moment they were united by vision, by courage, and by the promise of a future where merit mattered more than appearances. The galaxy held its breath. The palace glittered with light and power, high above the capital city. Towers of glass and steel reflected the stars, and gardens floated in the sky, tended by robotic gardeners. Yet for all its beauty, the palace was not a safe place. Politics, jealousy, and hidden rivalries thrived here. Queen Ilara walked through the grand halls, her head held high despite the whispers that followed her. Nobles and council members sneered behind fans and screens. "Who chose her?" they muttered. "She does not belong here. How can she lead us?" Commander Ryland walked beside her, a quiet pillar of strength. He had chosen Ilara because he saw her true power, and he would not let anyone make her doubt herself. "Do not listen to them," he said softly. "They will speak against anyone who surprises them. Let us focus on what matters." Ilara nodded. She had expected challenges, but she did not expect them to be so immediate. The first council meeting after her coronation was a storm of criticism. Officials argued over trade agreements, military budgets, and planetary laws. Many tried to undermine her by questioning her knowledge, her decisions, and even her judgment, but Ilara had prepared for this. She spoke calmly, listening to each argument, weighing facts, and suggesting solutions that no one had considered. She used logic, ethics, and fairness to guide her decisions. Slowly, the whispers turned into curiosity. Some council members began to nod at her suggestions, surprised at how precise and practical they were. The first real test came when intelligence reports warned of a neighboring alien empire gathering forces near human colonies. Many council members panicked. They wanted immediate attacks, thinking force alone would solve the problem. Ilara studied the reports carefully. She noted patterns in the alien movements, weaknesses in their formations, and ways to protect the colonies without unnecessary conflict. She presented a plan that combined defense, diplomacy, and intelligence. Some nobles scoffed. "She is too cautious," they said. "We need action, not ideas." Ryland stood beside her. "Do not doubt her," he said to the council. So this is why she was chosen. Not for appearances, but for her vision. The alien struck sooner than expected. Patrol ships reported incursions near the outer colonies. Ilara acted quickly. Using her plan, she deployed defensive drones, evacuated civilians, and created decoy fleets to confuse the enemy. Her calm decisions prevented panic and saved lives. Back in the palace, she studied the alien technology captured from a skirmish. She discovered patterns in their weapons, weak points in their shields, and strategies that could turn a fight in humanity's favor. She trained the palace guards, teaching them tactics that combined human ingenuity with the best alien technology. The citizens began to hear of her efforts. Messages of praise arrived from planets she had never visited. Children in colonies wrote letters calling her brave. Ryland read one aloud to her. "Dear Queen Ilara, thank you for protecting us. You are not like other queens. You think for us, not just for yourself. You are the bravest leader we have ever had." Ilara smiled. For the first time, she felt the warmth of genuine respect. She realized her appearance mattered little when her actions spoke louder than words. Yet danger was closer than anyone realized. Within the palace, some officials secretly plotted to take advantage of her so-called weakness. They believed that if the queen could be manipulated, they could seize control of the empire's wealth and power. Ilara sensed their whispers, but she stayed calm. Instead of confronting them with anger, she observed, studied their patterns, and quietly collected evidence. When the time came, she would act with justice, not rashness. Meanwhile, the alien empire continued to move. They underestimated humanity's leaders, assuming that a queen who was ugly could not lead strong defenses. They ignored reports of Alara's strategies and the unexpected coordination between colonies. Rylan and Alara spent long nights planning, studying star maps, and testing simulations. They learned to trust each other's instincts. Rylan admired her ability to see connections he might have missed, her patience with people, and her fearless approach to problem-solving. One evening, during a quiet walk in the floating gardens, Rylan asked, "Do you ever wonder why they judged you by looks?" Alara looked at the glowing flowers floating in zero gravity and said, "They do not understand that appearances can hide strength. I never wanted to be beautiful. I wanted to be capable, and now I will show them what capability truly means." Her resolve grew stronger with every day. She began to hold meetings with leaders from different planets, forming alliances and encouraging trade agreements that benefited multiple colonies. Her vision was larger than the palace walls, larger than the council chambers. She thought not only of power but of the people. The alien threat became more aggressive. Reports of attacks on remote colonies reached the palace, and panic spread. Alara acted swiftly. She organized fleets, reinforced defenses, and used decoys to mislead the enemy. But her greatest strength was her ability to inspire. Colonists and soldiers who felt powerless before now rallied behind her. They followed her plans without fear because they trusted her judgment. During a council meeting, one high-ranking official dared to speak against her again. "Your plans are risky. You should act with force." Alara looked at him steadily. "Risk is part of leadership. Thoughtless force will destroy us. I will protect our people with wisdom, not only strength. Watch and learn." The council fell silent. Even those who doubted her began to see a new truth. Alara's choices were not mistakes. They were calculated actions based on knowledge, courage, and compassion. At the same time, secret agents within the palace began to move against her. She anticipated them. Using her intelligence network, she caught their plans before any harm could be done. She did not punish blindly, but revealed the truth to the council. Those who plotted against her were removed from power fairly, proving that justice, not fear, ruled under her guidance. Through all these challenges, Rylan stayed close, supporting her and learning from her as well. Together they became a team, one of strategy and intellect, courage and insight. One day, as a fleet returned victorious from defending a colony, the citizens cheered. Messages of gratitude arrived in holographic forms, and children drew pictures of their brave queen. Alara looked at Rylan and said, "They are beginning to see me as I am, not as they thought I should be." Rylan smiled. "And soon the entire empire will understand. True strength is not about appearance. It is about heart, mind, and courage." Yet the greatest challenge had not arrived. The alien empire was planning a massive attack bigger than anything before. This would test every plan, every skill, and every decision Alara had made. She would need to combine wisdom, courage, and leadership in ways no one expected. The palace grew quiet as night fell. Stars shone above, distant and cold. But Alara's mind was alive with plans. She had learned to trust herself, to trust her instincts, and to trust humanity's potential. What others saw as weakness, she saw as opportunity. And as the first signs of the alien fleet appeared near the outer colonies, Alara and Rylan stood side by side, ready to face the storm together. The galaxy waited, unsure of what would happen next. But one thing was certain. The queen, who was once judged by appearance alone, had hidden strengths that would change the course of human history. The outer colonies trembled under the shadows of the approaching alien fleet. Ships larger than mountains glided silently through space, their weapons glowing with dangerous energy. Panic spread among the citizens. Soldiers braced for combat and governors called for immediate action. But in the palace, Queen Alara remained calm. Commander Rylan stood beside her. "They are bigger, stronger, and faster," he said quietly. "Do you really think we can win?" Alara looked at him, her eyes steady and unwavering. "We can," she replied. "Not because we are stronger, but because we are smarter. And because we have courage. That is something no weapon can destroy." The first strike came at dawn. Alien fighters swarmed the outer colonies, attempting to destroy supply stations and communication hubs. Human defenses reacted, But the alien tactics were unpredictable. Many feared this could be the end. Alara had anticipated the attack. Months before, she had studied enemy patterns, predicting when and where they might strike. She had reinforced defenses quietly, created hidden supply lines, and set up decoys that appeared vulnerable but were actually traps. From the palace command center, she directed the human fleets. Her voice was calm, clear, and commanding. Deploy the drones to the northern sector. Activate the decoys near the outer rings. Keep civilians in the shelters. Wait for the moment I give the signal. The battle unfolded like a precise dance. Alien ships rushed toward what they thought were easy targets, only to be trapped in fields of force that disabled their engines. Drones attacked from angles they could not predict. Civilians were safe. Supplies remained untouched. Rylan watched in awe. He had fought many battles, but he had never seen leadership like this. Alara's mind worked faster than any weapon, anticipating every move, thinking 10 steps ahead. Every decision she made saved lives and turned disadvantage into advantage. But the aliens would not give up easily. They launched a massive strike at the central colony, hoping to break the human morale. This time the situation was critical. Ships began to fall and explosions lit the sky. Alara did not panic. She had prepared for this. Using what she had learned from studying their technology, she discovered a weak point in the alien fleet's shield system. It required a coordinated attack, precision timing, and absolute trust from every human pilot. She addressed the fleet through the interstellar communication network. Listen carefully, she said. We will strike together. If we act as one, we can break their formation and protect every colony. Trust each other and trust me. The pilots, inspired by her confidence, nodded through their helmets. They had seen her make impossible decisions before. They knew she was capable. The attack began. Human ships moved in perfect synchronization. Drones targeted the weak points. Pilots executed daring maneuvers. Every strike, every movement was guided by Alara's plan. Slowly, the alien fleet began to falter. Shields failed, engines burned out, and ships started to retreat. Meanwhile, within the palace, the council and citizens watched in amazement. Those who had once doubted her were now silent, realizing that appearances could never predict the strength of the mind or heart. At the same time, Alara sent envoys to the alien command center through secure communication channels. She offered negotiation, showing that humans did not seek unnecessary war but protection for their people. The alien leader, confused by the precision and intelligence of her strategies, agreed to parley. Rylan was astonished. You've done what no general could, he said. You won the battle without destroying them. Alara smiled, though fatigue showed in her eyes. Strength is not only in weapons. Strength is in understanding, planning, and acting with courage. We fought smart, not reckless. The alien forces withdrew. Humanity had won without losing countless lives. Colonies were safe, and citizens celebrated their queen who had turned what others saw as weakness into a powerful shield. Back in the palace, the council gathered to acknowledge her leadership. Officials who had plotted against her now bowed with respect. Even the citizens who had judged her for her appearance sent messages of gratitude and admiration. Children drew pictures not of beauty, but of bravery, intelligence, and courage. Alara walked through the palace gardens where flowers floated among the stars, reflecting the light of distant planets. Rylan joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. You have changed everything, he said. Alara looked at the stars. I have only shown what was already there. People needed to see it. Appearance is nothing compared to action, decision, and heart. The story of the ugly queen spread across the galaxy. She became a symbol of hope, proving that true merit is measured by deeds, not by beauty. Rylan and Alara continued to work together, planning for a future where human potential and courage were recognized above all else. Years later, historians would write about the time when the Empire faced a great threat and almost lost hope. They would tell the story of a queen judged by looks who led humanity to victory, saving millions and showing that real strength is inside. In the quiet moments, Alara and Rylan would stand together, watching the stars and knowing that the Empire had learned a lesson that would last generations. Courage, wisdom, and heart are the true markers of greatness, not what the eyes can see. And as new challenges came, as they always did, humanity would face them with leaders who valued knowledge, bravery, and the unseen strengths of the human spirit. The galaxy had witnessed a queen who changed everything, not by beauty, but by being truly remarkable.